who do not use their intellect. The Quran urged man to use their intellect in order to see and experience the truth. That should be your school right there. You get that school straightened out there, you'll be on your way, won't you? Instead of wasting time and somebody gonna give you a diploma to be what he wants you to be. Certain literate individuals, though lacking the ability to use their intellect to contemplate, nevertheless classify themselves as an intellectual and attempt to base their enthusiasm on the primitiveness of the Quranic God, thereby revealing the actual level of their knowledge or lack thereof. Intelligent beings should feel compelled to research any topic in depth. Intelligent beings should feel compelled to research any topic in depth. Otherwise, their delusive denial based on incorrect information will only yield them unfavorable results. And that's what has happened. The incorrect information that they gave us from day one, kindergarten, all the way up until now and present, that's what has happened. Unfavorable results. Now you got to turn to a Democratic Party or a Republican Party to fix your problem. Ain't that a shame? Unfortunately, despite the fact that Mohammed in parentheses saw, that stands for Sawal or Watala. Let's put that.
Peace be upon you. Yeah.
Approach the topic of religion by explicitly denouncing the concept of worshiping deities and openly claim Allah as the only one his message remained mostly misunderstood. The West approached the one denoted by the names Allah as though Allah is a greater God than the one they previously heard of, thereby veering far off course. Veering far off course. When you stop a moment, this veering far off course, when you see the Sunni Muslim against the Shiite, they fight the Baptist and the Catholic and the Methodist, the Christian, they balance. How could this be? Oh, I know why, because they is off course. That explains their behavior and everything that comes with it.
When you ask me, they are liars in simple language. And that's what liars do. And they keep on lying. And if you don't have sense enough to have sense, to see through their lies, then you must be one as well.
One as well.
We got knowledge to learn, not babies to put pacifiers in their mouth.
That's right.
If you still on the titty, be on the titty. But if you weaned yourself off the titty, then step into real understanding of what self is. These things are for a purpose. Like I say, the spirit is fast. Everything else is slow. So when we talk about people are slow, people retarded, people not catching on fast.
Yeah.
They catching on slow.
Yeah.
Because the brain waves they receiving slow.
Yeah.
See, the spirit don't got slowness in it. It's always ready, real groomed and ready.
Ready to roll.
So we need to get to know the spirit. There ain't no waiting with the spirit. This is really what's the difference between spirit and flesh.
As for the Islamic world, sadly, they too remain unaware of the Allah revealed by Muhammad, saw and have instead based their faith on any exterior heavenly God. While men have spent their time in endless debates about the forms and formalities of religion, the very essence of faith, that is, believing in Allah, and the points mentioned in Amatu are completely ignored. Consequently, the faith of the majority is found on baseless falsehood. The faith of the majority is found on baseless falsehood. Now, can you imagine having a big old dose of his education and a big old dose of his
Done had it.
falsehood?
That's why I ain't got
I'm talking
time
about a
for
big old dose, y'all.
18 years of it for myself. I can count it like a person doing his prison time. I can count it.
A big old dose. How about that? The majority. Look at COVID-19 that the majority flee to. How about that? Let's throw that out there. And test the water to see what did everybody do at that time in that era, and when that kind of talking was going on, COVID-19, 6 feet apart. The foundation of Islam rests upon the phenomenon of Allah. Allah. There is no God to idolize and defy. There is only Allah. This expression clearly alludes to the fact that Allah is not a deity God. Then, what is Allah? This is the question. Muhammad saw peace answered through the revelation of the Quran as he tried to stop people from defining and idolizing external gods, warning them against investing in false hope into fictional idols and endangering their future. Evidently, they didn't get the memo, because that's what just have happened to our people. I mean, we got, I call ourselves, got spiritual leaders. And God's everywhere. God with no name. Muhammad saw who articulate the Quran to us, taught us there is no God, that there is only Allah, that there is a system present within life by which those who fail to comply are led to suffer the consequences of their own actions. Look at our people. Look at us suffering. You know, got wrapped up into this system of red and blue, and now we are waiting our own suffering by our own action, our own belief in this foolishness. That's them three types of people that we're talking about earlier. Ignorant, stupid, foolish. They're everywhere. Ain't too many places you can go and just strike a conversation and you can just see the heavy foolishness talk, the foolishness action. There's just a whole lot of foolishness going on in today's life and world. Ain't much a whole lot of positive. If we live with the awareness of the existence of the afterlife, our primary concern should be to know Allah and the life awaiting us after death, so that we may prepare accordingly. Let's just stop a moment right there. Now, this is what should be going on, but it's just the opposite. Our life exists for the material world only, our wealth, and trying to get to be rich, and working like a dog all the days of our life, accumulating cars and clothes and boy, and I mean, you name it, and we trying to get it. And by the way, you notice that at the time of death, you ain't prepared about the afterlife. Look at all that stuff that's being left behind for everybody to fight over. And I've seen that too. They were fighting over James Brown, fortunately. Oh, the list goes on. Caught up into that, like they ain't gonna die, and they ain't even worried about the afterlife or the life to come. Then let us know from now that we will never be able to compensate for our faith. No, excuse me. Wait, let me go and kick that. If we live, no, excuse me. If one, kick that thing up. If On the other hand, we spend our lives only for the purpose of accumulating worldly possessions and ignore investment for the life awaiting us after death. Then let us know from now that we will never be able to compensate for our past. Boy, is that the Godhead truth. We ain't even worried about that part. All the accumulation of the worldly thing. That's what everybody focus on too, ain't it? They ain't worried about the other stuff. They don't even worry about their health too much now this day and time. But you know what? I'm seeing a lot of people health is getting bad. Everett was telling me that he been staying going to the doctor. And I can tell yesterday that he was hurt and something was wrong with it. But it is what it is.
I was just talking about this morning, how everybody, not gonna say everybody, but majority of people, when you're talking to them, they already seem to know something. They always think they know.
Yeah.
And it ain't like you can really teach anybody anything when they already know.
They already know. They know everything.
So I see it as that it should be perfection in your life.
Yeah, that's so true. So
What's the issue then? What's the next issue then?
That's
You
right.
already have the answer or no and just not doing it.
that, how about that? How about that? And ain't that a shame when you know and don't do it? I just read about action, wasn't it? Didn't I just read that? About our action? Yeah. Suffering the consequences of their own action. The life you've been living, coming back now, knocking on the door. What if you ain't figured it out yet and had time to straighten it up? Look, they think we playing around because we don't stop eating this and stop eating that. They think we put on a show? No. We care.
No, it ain't.
We
It ain't got
concerned
nothing to do
about
with me.
and concerned about our body,
I'm
our
concerned
spirit,
about.
our soul.
I'm only not eating meat because my creator don't eat meat. And in respect to that, I respect my creator, so I don't. I'm looking to get better to myself. We have to understand this is not about nobody else. You was born alone.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna die alone.
Mm-hmm.
So please get that through your head.
Mm-hmm.
We got to speed this stuff up. Things are in slow motion in the past. Speed the brain up. Stop watching things in the past and get with the present. The concepts that you have of God is outdated. It's like a VCR in a time when you streaming fast. We in the streaming world, meaning you supposed to be right now working at thought speed.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning if you ain't comprehending by now, you just need to sit and start comprehending. You can't get $1 without collecting $1. You can't get knowledge without accumulating knowledge. When I read, I'm reading to accumulate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm accumulating so much that I'm wealthy. We have to understand the process of why reading is important. Because as the sister just brought, you can't teach anybody nothing.
Right on.
And for me, young, not knowing, to becoming knowing, helping people to know, you can't help people to know. They know when they want to know. They come when they want to come. They do when they want to do.
Yes.
Me understanding that, going through the first heaven, the second heaven, third heavens, I've had 3 rebirths. And dealing with people, you will have 3 rebirths. Because you got to figure out yourself amongst dealing with people.
Right on.
So now when we are talking about what people are, people's nature will never change. We have to understand what is life, what is self, what's this universe, and what is these words called God and Allah. So we can begin to de-ravel ourselves from a mystery of not knowing self. We are praying to things that we do not know of. We are speaking of things we do not know of. We are having actions that we are ignoring that we do not know is going to harm us at the end. Because most people have not studied their ass off. So just like someone who's rich is getting money every day, someone who is getting intelligent is studying every day, accumulating knowledge, so they can begin to understand, not to use it to understand, using it to understand. This is different than applying it in the fleshly world. When it say contemplate, that is a understanding, that is not a doing. You sit still and you begin to contemplate. And you don't use your flesh called hands and feet to go nowhere. You sit still and use your inner being. And this inner being will start bringing out all the greatness that you need to start knowing and becoming familiar with. But you can't do that because you're restricted by God. Because you've done no research on it for yourself to find out what God is. You are restricted by what you have stored in your subconscious, aka your brain. So if you don't know these things, then we are restricting ourselves. Each person must know. It's not my duty to make you know. My duty is to make you aware. When I make you aware, it's on you after that. All I can do is bring you the book. I can't teach you how to read. I can't teach you anything. But if you want to learn what's in this book, you will learn everything else. Why? Because I have my own experiences. I went from not knowing nothing about music to making my own music and making the best music. And I'm talking about, how did I do that? Did it just fall out the sky? No, I applied the knowledge to self. And this is what we all have to do. Except when it comes to, in this realm that's not music or fleshly, you got to come to the spirit, meaning now you got to do another task.
Right on.
So the name of the goal is you have to destroy if you into spirituality, if you into religion, you have to know how to destroy your lower self. This is what all those teachings, this is what all those liturgical understandings is for. If you have wasted amount of your fleshly life learning about the understanding what's in these, what they call Allah, the angels, the prophets, and the books. When you going through all these books to find out what's inside of them, because you want to know. Because this is dealing with you if this is what is being said. So now when we go in these books, we find out it's not dealing with self. They are concocted with have self and have not self. So this is what making you aware of what is coming and what is going. A shooting star don't last long in the sky. Meaning the spirit is moving.
Yeah.
It's not in the same place as you reading. Reading is to accumulate knowledge. You don't supposed to read books. You're supposed to read yourself. But to learn how to read yourself, to become a master at it, start reading books. And you'll begin to now start be able to read in yourself, because you're dealing with the most thing that self has to deal with is language. If you don't know language, you don't know self yet. Self is constricted and constructed from a whole language system. and you speak your creation from your vocal throat. So from your throat comes all of what you know. And if you don't understand what you know, you could be creating something that you wish you would not ever step into. This is how worse life can get. I've been at my lowest, where you do not know how did you get here. That's called the depths at the bottom. But it's something inside that's still telling you, raise, find yourself, get yourself together. I'm not here as no entertainment piece. I'm here as the real deal. I don't have no shame in any of my game. How I got here is through toiling, through arduous, through voluptuous, crucifying reading, wanting to know myself by being in such a low position, not finding God. I didn't find God in a low position. God ain't in no, well, in our case, God is in a low position. Because you don't know Allah, you don't have the higher position.
That's right.
See, we have been cornered into an understanding that has philosophically locked their brain into a coma, spiritually. Meaning that you now need material things to discern what you are. Spirit don't need a thing. Like we say in the South, now nothing. So this is not even understood by most older people. And they are supposed to be the epitome of spirit walking. And when we're talking about through lack of study, this is why we don't have no intensity in our volume. Understanding what self has gone through, been through, and will no longer return to. Because my knowledge defeated that. And I moved on like an X.
Right on. That's what you spoke.
When you don't got time to play, I don't got time to listen to a preacher preach. I can go read the book for myself and probably read it faster or go find out what I need to find out. So to me, we have to understand I'm bringing hand-selected books that I've read over 1,000 books easily to bring every book I'm bringing to you. And for me not to waste time is for me to understand that we have to understand who knows and who don't know. Who is the truth manifested and who is still working on it. It's people rich. It ain't some people still working on it. It's people who got it down. It's people who got this stuff down that y'all thought was a mystery called God and Allah. This stuff is a study material. This is a science. This is a science and a mathematics that is greater than any material possession. These are the tools for everlasting life if you can dig it.
Right on.
But if you ain't looking for that, then you don't figure deal me. Because this is about the new, nothing is new under the sun. Self is the only thing new. And we ain't discovered this because we've been held back by false leaders and fake teachers who ain't read no book from page to page 300 times to make sure they got an understanding before they even come public.
Right on. That's what we should do.
This is what I did.
Right on.
I'm not coming forth as a person still learning. I've done all my learning. I've wasted a large 18 years of my latter parts into reinstitutionalizing myself through myself. After high school, I stopped going to school. I didn't want no more of that garbage. I said, leave that alone and I'm going to find myself. And I did exactly what I said. And I had injuries to come in between to stop it. And I overcame it.
Beautiful.
And I'm saying this because what I am, you shall be.
Beautiful.
What the truth is, you shall become. Once we understand how to walk in spirit, how to talk in spirit, because wisdom speak out the highest plane of spirit life. I know I came to know. My names mean gnosis. I came to know thyself. I'm not playing with man. I'm not playing with a woman. I'm not playing with any souls. If you want the truth, come listen. If you don't, stay put. You listen to the one who has discovered, who knows, and who says, if I don't know, I do not know. But it's one thing that I've spent my life on, and that's knowing God and knowing Allah. This is what I have experienced from flesh to spirit. And in between was my mind deciding what I'm going to become. And in that making, I became what I am. And that's spirit. And that means you don't need anything of flesh. All you need is thought. And thought defeats all. We don't talk about the power in self. The power in self is omnipotent, omniscience, all-knowing. The God they say that you can't know is unconsciousness. You can't know unconsciousness. It's unconscious. Self is consciousness. So you can learn consciousness because it's conscious. So when we're talking about right and wrong, these are baby, childlike models of information for those with sluggish will. For those who have sped up and have done the work that is in these holy books, they don't got time to play. So we finna move to chapter 2 and get it moving because there's no time to waste. We got 26 minutes left.
Just a little bit more to finish.
Oh, okay. I walked outside.
Yeah, I got a little bit more to finish from at the very bottom. Taking this into consideration. Oh, and that was well said. Taking this into consideration, let us now try to understand the one denoted by the name Allah, disclosed by Muhammad, peace be upon him. Let us see who Allah, Muhammad, peace be upon him, wanted us to know really is.
Right. So before we begin with chapter 2, we come out of the Sufyan, which took over 18 years to discover, which taught that all law is the nature of logic and the concept. Now we're going to see if this holds concrete.
Yeah.
All law is the nature of logic and the concept. Chapter 2.
The nature of logic and all is concept.